Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you from A to Z how you can buy your Nano ledger, so S Plus, and on top of this also how you can get a discount for it up to 20%. I'm going to show you exactly what has to be in the box, and also how you're going to set everything up, so for the wallet itself. And then on top of that, we're also going to go in and get the apps, so you understand the different coins that you can actually put on the ledger itself. Now, we have decided to use Ledger because this is one of a very few that comes highly recommended through different people that we have talked about in the crypto community, and they all seem to guide us in the same direction. So we have also bought a new one of this, and within the platform, so for the ledger, there's a couple of different ones that you can pick and choose from. There's the Ledger Nano S Plus and there's the Ledger Nano X, and the difference basically between the two is the Nano X has got a Bluetooth, it's got a bit of a bigger screen, and you can obviously go in and see which one you want for yourself. But in today's tutorial, we're going to unpack, we're going to unwrap, and we're going to set up everything for the Ledger Nano S Plus. So let's get started and see exactly what you get when you order one of these. So now that you get your Ledger Nano S Plus, you can quickly see that this is actually the one that you ordered. It comes in a nice little small compact box where everything is included. And the first part is basically fill, trust yourself. What we just can say here is make sure that you open this yourself and don't let anybody else that you don't trust help you out. On top of this, you have the ledger itself, and this comes with a small little display, and then it also only has 2 buttons, so quite easy to operate, and obviously we're going to go that into detail on that afterwards. Also on top, you can see where you go in, ledger.com/start. That is basically where everything starts and what you need to go. And then on top of that, you have your secret recovery sheets. You have 3 in there. Make sure they are not filled out. And you have a bit of a warning also, never share it with anyone. So make sure that you follow those rules. Anybody who's got those words can basically access all your money. Make sure they are not also already pre-filled out. That is definitely a big no-no, and then you just contact Ledger for a new one. That means it has been intercepted. So make sure they are blank. Nobody has written anything in there. And on top of this, you also have a couple of extra documents that comes with the Ledger part. And one of these is basically a bit of information, so a leaflet again, so from Ledger itself, and which is obviously quite nice to have. But the important part is a quick guide, get started, and basically it tells you that you go into the ledger.com start, download and open the Ledger apps, and you follow the instructions. This comes in many different languages, as you can see here. So everybody should be covered, or at least most of the world should be covered on this. You have also the regulatory statement, so if you have too much time, definitely you can always read that one and put yourself to sleep with. The last part here is basically a decal, so a letter decal that you can add to your PC if you want to. Now the last little box that you have underneath is the cable itself, the cable that connects the ledger and goes into your PC, so they can basically talk together. That cable is there together also with the key ring you see here, and that is basically entire contents of what you're supposed to receive. If you're missing anything on this, then make sure you contact Ledger straight away saying there's something wrong here. Now, we know a lot of people like to read a bit about what is actually happening before we start the tutorial itself, and obviously we have sections in the description, so if you prefer just to see what we do, then obviously you can jump straight there. But there is important disclaimers, and this is the first one here that is very obvious to know about. So when you first receive your Ledger wallet, it must always be initiated by following this process. The powering on the device generates a PIN code and generate the 24 words. Both these things you need to save and these are unique exactly to your particular ledger. If you receive a device containing a pre-completed recovery phrase or a PIN code, you should not use the device. It means that device has already been used by somebody else, and definitely that also means that they can hack into the device and take whatever cryptocurrency is there. Ledger will never provide a PIN code or recovery phrase with the product, nor ever ask for them. Under these circumstances, you must contact Ledger Customer Service. So very important steps. Make sure that you are setting up the PIN code yourself, and also that the generation of the 24 words. Now, what do you need in order to get started here? Well, you need the Ledger Nano S Plus supplied with the micro cable, the USB-C cable, so that we saw earlier in the video. And you also need a computer, Windows at least 8.1, or if it's a Linux, also 16.10. These are both old specs, so you shouldn't have a problem at all running this. And then the Ledger Live application, you need to download it and install it on a computer, and obviously we get to that point also shortly. Now, the instructions are quite simple. There's not many steps in here. So step 1 is basically we set up the new device. And as you saw in the disclaimer, step 2 is choose your PIN code. And we will go through that one, and then write down your recovery phrase. And this is the most time consuming of all of these. And after that, the device is ready. And from there on, we can then go and install the apps and also add accounts in the Ledger Live. Now, step 1 here is simply setting up the device. So when you connect the Ledger Nano S Plus to the computer with the cable here, it should tell you to welcome, and basically it will start up, and press the right button to continue, and you navigate through the screens. Now you only have the 2 buttons here, so you can go left, you can go right, and when you need to confirm something within the ledger itself, you press both buttons at the same time. It says on the 3, press button simultaneously to choose the option, set up a new device, and that is what we're going to go through today. Step 2 is choose the PIN code. So again, press both buttons when choosing PIN codes with 4 to 8 digits. You don't need to have all 4. Minimum or 8, minimum is 4. So you press the right or left button to choose the first digits, and then when you have that, you basically click both buttons again here to choose the exact number, and then it jumps to the next one here. And at the end of the day, you select the check mark with the V, press the buttons to confirm the PIN codes, and then you can use the backspace icon to erase digits if that's what you want. Otherwise, confirm the PIN code by entering it once more, and don't forget to write it down somewhere where only you have access to it. The last part is the more complicated part, and the really important part here is to write down your recovery phrase. So you get 24 words on the recovery phrase, will be displayed word by word, and this is going to be on the Ledger Nano S Plus screen, so the small little screen. And the recovery phrase is the only backup you will have of the private keys. It will be displayed only once, so make sure that you write it down and double check it, and that's what it says here. Take a blank recovery sheet. We have 3 within the box. Press the buttons and write down the recovery phrase as they are displayed here. And you press the right button to navigate through the online screen, then press both buttons to continue. Write down the first word on the recovery sheet, verify that you have copied it correctly in position 1, and then you move on to the next word. And in point 6 here, it says optional again. To verify your 24 words, press the left button and press both buttons to confirm your recovery phrase once you have confirmed it here. So this is very important. You understand how you navigate through the screen, basically back and forth. And then when you are fully in control and you think that the device is now ready, then you hold the buttons for 3 seconds to access the control center. The control center is where you can access the apps and settings on the device. And basically, this is the process that we have to go through today. As we said again, security tips, this is very, very important. So one last time, anyone with access to your recovery phrase could take your assets, store it securely. Make sure you do that. Ledger does not keep a backup of the 24 words you have. It is only between the ledger that you have bought and installed here. and yourself. So make sure that this is not lost. If they are, sorry, there is no way back at all. Never use a device supplied with a recovery phrase and or PIN code. We have been over this a couple of times, but again, this is very, very important. If there's any doubts at all, then contact Ledger support, so straight away. So let's get started and let's set up the Ledger itself. Now, as we showed you earlier in the video here, the first place in order to go and download the program itself to put on your PC or laptop is basically go to ledger.com/start. It will bring you to this particular page here. And from there on, all you have to do is click on the download part and then decide which operating system you're running. We are running Windows apps, so we click this one here. Otherwise, you got Mac and Linux also covered. And that's pretty much it. After that, you put it on your PC, install it wherever you feel comfortable with it, and then we'll start up the program. So when the program starts up, this is basically the page you get to. And from here on, you can obviously go to Get Started. So we'll click this particular one here, and then you choose which Ledger that you are currently running with. We are running with the Ledger Nano S Plus, and that's what this tutorial is all about today. So let's click Select here. And then from here on, it's quite important. First time using the Nano S Plus, that's basically what we want. Otherwise, you have a recovery phrase and you already have set that up. We are going through this particular one here today, and that's the one we will continue with on the setup. So now there's a bit of information here. Your crypto assets are stored in the blockchain. You need a private key to access and manage them. Okay. On the next part, you own your private key. Your private key is stored within your Nano. You must be the only one to own it and be in control of your money. Stay offline. Your Nano works as a cold storage wallet. This means that it never exposes your private key online, even when using the app. And we get that part. Validate transactions. Ledger Live allows you to buy, sell, manage, exchange, and earn crypto while remaining protected. You will validate every crypto transactions with your Nano. Yeah, we get that part also. And now we're basically ready to go. So it tells us now here that plan for 30 minutes. Take your time, grab a pen to write everything down, and stay alone. Make sure that nobody peeks or has in any way compromised the safety here. So we go on and says, okay, I am ready. Here on it says now turn on Nano, connect your device to your computer with the USB cable. So, and that is basically what we need to do. And if we just pop that in. So the Nano device is now popped in, and basically just click next step. And in here it says your PIN code is the first layer of security. Physically secure access to your private key on your Nano. Your PIN must be between 4 and 8 digits here. I understand that I must choose my PIN myself and keep it privately. So basically you have to mark this one up. And then from here on, it now says set up PIN code. And you have to choose the PIN code here. So press the left or right button on the digits here. So now we can see here, it says welcome to Ledger Nano S Plus. Press right button to continue, and we'll do that. But download Ledger at ledger.com start, and then press right, and this is done. Use button to navigate menu. Press both buttons to select, hold buttons anytime to access settings and more. Start Ledger Live for help during setup, and set up a new device. So that is basically what we're looking at here. So, and then you have to choose your PIN with 4 to 8 digits. So let's do that. So now that we have entered in our PIN code, so basically we've chosen one between 4 and 8 digits, and we confirm the PIN code. After that, it is basically confirm here also as on the screen. So confirm PIN code, and we go next. So let's do that. And now it will come up here and tell you, so secure your PIN codes, and again, never use an easy PIN code, so and so on. Yeah, We understand that. And now it's part for the recovery phrase to come in. And your recovery phrase is a secret list of 24 words that back up your private keys. Your Nano generates a unique recovery phrase. Ledger does not keep a copy of it. And then basically you have to mark up here that you understand what it is you need to do. And then click on the recovery phrase. Take your recovery sheet. Grab a blank piece of paper here, include it with your Nano. Please reach out to Ledger support, so if it did not come blank. And now you basically write down the 24 words that you have in here. And how that works is basically on the Nano itself. You have now the write down your recovery phrase, and you now click on both. Your device will generate 24 words. They are your recovery phrase. And now you click the right button here. If you only back up to restore your account if needed, write it down on your recovery sheet in the correct order. Press both buttons to continue. So we will press both buttons, and then they'll start off with the words, and you can now scroll left and right to make sure that you can see all of them. So we'll just do that for the 24 words, and then we'll be right back. Now when you put down all your recovery phrases, the 24, you basically go left again and double check them to see you have spelled them right and they're in the right order. That is very, very important. So make sure that you double check this. And then you get to this screen here. It says press left to verify your words. Press both buttons to continue. And basically you press both buttons and then confirm your recovery phrase. So now you have to do that, and you double click them again, and now you just start confirming which ones they are. Now the way this works is that obviously you are getting different words that are in here, and you have an option of a few different ones, and as you will see here, you'll have to confirm each one. So through the confirmations and double click the buttons, basically double click both. So if you think it's claw and it matches up, you double click the buttons here. Once you're done with your recovery phrase, basically the Ledger will now tell you your recovery phrase is set. Keep it in a secure place, and basically you move on and click on the right hand side. It says if stolen, lost or stolen, forgotten, all your assets will be immediately lost. Obviously that is never a good thing. Never share it with anyone. Ledger will never ask you for it. Press both buttons to continue, and we do that. And now it should come up and tell us basically the device is ready. And at the same time here on the platform here, we can confirm your recovery phrase. We have done that, and also here it will basically just tell you what happens if the Nano is lost, and it's just a guide to follow it all the way through. So now that your recovery phrase is done and you have confirmed this, you go, okay, I am done, and then you have a range of items again here, never entered on your computer, smartphone, so keep all the 24 words of anything online, and then you get started. And now you have a simple quiz here. So now game on, answer 3 simple questions to avoid misperception about your hardware wallet, and you take the test. And now it says here, as a Ledger user, my crypto is stored. It is stored on the blockchain, so all the details itself will be on the Nano, but things are on the blockchain here. The next question is if my recovery phrase is no longer secure or private. No problem, Ledger can send me a copy. No, that is not the case. My crypto is no longer safe and I need to transfer them to a secure place. Definitely this is the one. And the last question you get here, when I connect my Nano to the Ledger app, my private key is still offline, briefly connected to the internet. This will be still on here. And obviously that is the end of the quiz. So it tells us we're already a pro, and you now click to the next step. And you now have to check your Nano. And the device is now ready, so it says go to the dashboard, and we double click the two buttons again, and it now tells you to install apps. And basically that will finish the first part. It says allow Nano on your device. And again, we have to double check. So basically click all good. So it means you click both buttons here. Your Ledger Nano S Plus is genuine and ready to use with your Ledger Live. And now we click continue again. And in a sec, we will now get a platform. So there's a few terms and use updates that is good to have here. And basically when you read the terms and conditions, you can click continue. And now you have a full setup where we're now going to go through how exactly you're going to get your apps installed on this one here. So to get started with the apps, we basically click here. So go to my Ledger to install the apps. So this should now open up a new window here where you can then decide which exactly you want to load. And here we get the first ones. So here we have a range of different coins that are already there. And the first one that we're going to install will be for the Bitcoin. So this one is already set up here. And all you have to do is click. By the way, before we do that, you can see the firmware that you have in here. And you can also see there's a new update. So we might do that a bit later. And then you have the capacity right now, 1.28 megabytes for the apps. But what we do is we basically just click install here. And it will now take up a bit of space. So here you can add and subtract the ads depending on what coins that you are currently working with. But that is pretty much it. So app installed successful. You can now add it to your Bitcoin account. And you can click manage your account right here. Open the Bitcoin app on your device. And basically let's try and do that. And if we see here, it says open app for Bitcoin. It will tell you to go right. And that means you have to double check, or double tap the buttons here. So at the same time, and now it tells you Bitcoin will be ready for the setup. And it's just synchronizing as it is right now. And that will take couple of more seconds, and then basically that is all you have to do. So that is the one. So for the Bitcoin here, and you can also show the address for the different types here of Bitcoin, and that is the first one that we need to have down. Then you can add the account as confirmation, and that is successfully done now. And you click done again, and that is now in there. If you go back to the ledger itself, you will see here that is now connecting to it, and everything is installed here. Now the second coin we wanted to add here was the USDT. And basically you can do that by either clicking here or clicking the add account up here on the other side. And then you can choose which one it is. And if we go for the Tether USDT, you can see it's on the Ethereum network, and that will be the ERC20. Now we don't really want to install that on the ERC20. We never really use it. It's simply too expensive. We want to use the Tron network. But there's a little trick to that, and that means that we have to install the Tron network instead. So if we go in and find it here, let's scroll down, there you go, the TRX. Basically what you need to do here now is you have to trick the system a bit. So obviously this is most probably gone to sleep, and we have to enter the PIN code again. And that can be done fairly quickly. There you go. Now we have connection to platform itself. Is now checking the app dependencies. And again, it now installed the app, which is fairly quickly, so that doesn't really take much time. So open the Tron app on your device, and basically it you have to click it again. Application is now ready, it says. And it also comes up here on the screen. It's just synchronizing at the moment. So on the ledger itself, it says application ready. Now we just have to make sure that it's actually installed correctly. So on the Tron network. So that is now the one, and we want to add this particular account, and now that has been done successfully. You can see we now have 2 opportunities to go in here, and you will also be able to see them on the ledger itself. So if we just give it a chance to load, then you'll see that again Bitcoin we had up here, and if we find the Tron network, you can see this one is here. Now what we wanted to do also is try to move a bit of money today, so to show you exactly how this is done. But we'll move some USDT and most probably also a bit of Bitcoin from Binance. And in order to do this, we have to move a bit of TRX first before we do the USDT itself. And I'll show you why exactly that is. But if we start off with the Tron, and it works similar to Bitcoin here, we go to the Tron network. It now says we want to receive money. We click on the receive part here. And now it says here, please only send TRX or TR20 tokens to the Tron account. Sending other crypto assets may result in permanent loss of funds. And you can now learn more about it as you go on here. So obviously that is quite important. Open the Tron app on your device, and we will do that by double clicking. It tells you the application is ready. And now we get the address here. So basically what needs to happen is you need to copy this one here. So, and that's important that you do that first. So let's just get this one out of the way. So now the trick here is that you have to double check your device, basically verify your address, and it will then come up and see if it is the same. So best normally part is to check the front part of the address and also the last part of the address to make sure that that exactly fits. And if it does that, then it's all well. And on the ledger, you now just double click again. It says approve and address share securely. And as you can see here, it's now done, and you can click it off. If you now forgot to copy down the address, you can go in and re-verify the address for you here. But let's just jump over to Binance to get some TRX and USDT ready. So we have logged into Binance, and we have a bit of TRX down here that we want to move over to the Ledger wallet. And basically what we do is we click the withdraw button down here. The TRX is here, and then we add in the address that we had from earlier. So which is this one. Now comes up automatically, tells us that TRX is on the Tron network, and we can from here on basically move the maximum over that we have in here, and click the withdraw button. And once we do that, then it will double check here, ensure the address is correct. So we have a look and see if this was the address that was there. We are quite happy with this. And then there's an email verification code. We click, we get the code, and normally this comes very fast. So from Binance, we just have to wait a second. There it is. And we enter the code. There you go. And then also the authenticator code has to be in. And for that, we also enter this one. And that basically sets it up. Withdrawal request submitted, and it's now completed. Again, we can see the address is fine, waiting for approval. And we now approve this page, and we'll just try and send some USDT off, and we click on the withdraw button here and see USDT tether. That's okay. We copy in the address that we got from our ledger part, and then also we choose the network, which is the TRX, so Tron 20 network. It looks like this, and then the minimum we can move is 10. So let's just move the 10 and see how we go on with this. Click the withdraw button. We will again, as usual, confirm how things are working. We need to get an email verification code, which will come in a couple of seconds normally. So when it comes to Binance, they are quite fast, and we have that one here. So we add that one to it, and also the authorization code for the Binance. And let's see if we can get this moving fairly quickly. We submit it. Again, we can double check and verify the address in here. That is the right one. And we click complete. And we go back to our ledger and see if it has come in. Now it has only been a couple of minutes here since we just transferred the tokens, and as you can see, the TRX is already here. Small amount, but basically this is just a test trial at the moment, and money is now there. Now there's a little kink to this here also, because we wanted to test something out at the same time as we do the tutorial. So we actually moved the USDT on the Tron network using the same account before we actually moved the TRX. Now they didn't show up in the wallet so at the time, and obviously you don't know if this is then lost or not, but apparently it's sitting and waiting in the background. And as you can see here now, that the even though that we moved the Tether USD before the TRX, it's still there. It's actually registered below. So it's both the accounts are using the same address to make the transfer on, and the money is not lost, even though you don't do it straight away and forget about doing the TRX first. But in order to open up for the app itself, you basically have to transfer just a small amount of TRX in order to open up for all the sub accounts in this particular case. So now this one you can use on multiple different platforms that pay out in USDT on the TRC20 network. So that can be both Trilliant, it can be yield notes, it can be many other different platforms if you want that. And obviously you can now also transfer Bitcoin. So again, if you want to transfer Bitcoin and add something to it, again you go in and there's no crypto assets because we haven't moved anything. You click on the receipt button here. It now tells you that we have to continue. Again, it's going to talk to the device, and the device here we can already see that we have to put in our code again, and we're just going to do that and confirm it. And that's why I just said something went wrong. Now it's okay. It's updating it here and basically opening up the Bitcoin app on the device, and that will just take a moment. From there on we will then be able to so open the Bitcoin device, we confirm that, and from there it will basically just take a few minutes. We now get the address for this particular one again, and we copy this address in here. And once we have done that, there's always a verification, so the address also comes up on your ledger device again, and we double check that this is the correct one. We go in and we approve it. Now it says it's Bitcoin ready. Back on the Binance, we're going to do the same here with BTC. So basically we go in, we do withdrawal for this part. So we have the Bitcoin here. And then we're going to add the address that we copy pasted in. So this is this one. It tells you the network that we're on also automatically. So that seems to confirm it. And we then do a max for this particular one, and we do a withdrawal. Comes up again, receiving, and we double check the address here, so we're happy with that one. And again, we also get a email verification code, so that being sent, and that should come again in a very short time. And the verification code we have here, so 4301, and again verify the address that also have it, and then you use the authenticator to on top of this make sure that everything is as it should be. We do submit, and again we have the part in here, and we just click complete. And now we have to wait a bit longer, so for Bitcoin it doesn't go through so fast, but once it's there we go back to the ledger, so you can see that that has arrived also. So this has only been about 5 minutes since we checked out of Binance and moved the Bitcoin here, and we can see they are already here, so that was extremely fast, and we can see the transaction when it was received. So everything went very well and extremely fast, we must say. I was quite surprised on how quick that goes. Normally when you find most of the exchanges, Bitcoin definitely can take several hours sometimes. Now we also want to make sure that we can get the money back out again. And what do you need to do here? Well, basically, again, you click on the currency that you actually want to get yourself involved in and transfer out. Receive, we have already covered that a few times now, and basically you go to Tether USD and you click on the send button, and from here on it tells you now you need the receiving address. So let's say we are moving this over to Binance in order to exchange it into something else. So let's jump back there for a sec and just pick up the address. Back on the Binance side again here, and we find the address. We again look at the USDT that we had in here, and we say we want now to deposit. Click the deposit part, and then we have the USDT. Now we have to choose the correct network, and as we said, we set it up as the Tron network, and this is the TRX Tron network, TRC20. We click this one here, and now you basically get the address details on this particular one. So this is the one you have to use, and we click copy to this particular one and simply go back to the ledger again. Back in the ledger, we simply just highlight again the Tron address and copy paste over the address that we had from our Binance part. You click continue, and then you decide exactly maximum spendable, how much you have in here and how much exactly you want to move. And obviously there is a fee for this one. So normally exchanges have also a minimum number that you have to apply by, but in this particular case it's not so. You can simply just move minimum amounts, but obviously still you have to pay a small fee for the miners at the end of the day. So you can see there's a very small amount being taken off here. So insufficient balance, yes, of course. So we haven't put much here yet. We will do so, but you can see there's a small amount changing hands here. And again, you simply click continue. It will now tell you the amount, $5 US, the network fee, so which is minimum. And then you click continue. Video here. So the ledger says review transaction, amount is 5 and it's in USDT. And then on top of that, it has the from address, it has the send to address, and sign transaction. We double click, so basically click on both buttons at the same time. So, and now the transaction, as you can see here, is sent, and you can go in and view the finer details of this particular one, and you get the details out, exactly what was sent, and that is it. Then that goes back to Binance, and everything is basically set up and sorted and work both ways. So just to finish this off, we're just going to have a quick look at the USDT. and we can see the transaction that has come in. So that in this particular case, the deposit came in and it's at $5. So everything went very smooth, very fine, no problems at all. So there you have it, very easy to set up. We do understand that a lot of people have a lot of fears when they have to set up something like this. But if you break it down in simple steps, and as we have done here, I hope this has been really help to you. Just make sure your recovery phrases and your PIN are safely and secured stowed away, so that nobody else gets a hand on it. So that is basically the name of the game. Now we want to just iterate again here that if you haven't bought a Ledger, or if you're planning on buying a second one, you can use our link in the description below in the video here, and you can get a discount of 20%. Just make sure that the link will take you to this particular page, so that you will get the percentage off. And apart from this, then I really hope that you like this tutorial. You can maybe give us a thumbs up and some feedback on how you thought this tutorial went, if it was helpful to you. And otherwise, I hope to see you on one of my future tutorials or videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.